Greetings hobbyists, this is Artisans of Vol, and in this video we're going to be fixing a non-manifold mesh. So I got sent this file the other day. It was from someone who's creating some wargaming bases, following my series on making wargaming bases for people relatively new to Blender. There's a link in the description for that playlist, and effectively it should allow you to come up with something that ends up like this. And then you'll be able to cut bases out of it. But this seems to have caused some problems for the person that was following this, and they've had some issues with some booleans. And in fact, they correctly have diagnosed that when they're trying to cut out the bases, this is the base, and they come here and Control Shift and then start to cut it out, we lose everything. So there's some sort of problem with the mesh, and they identified that there's not a problem with this, so it must be a problem with this, and then asked for some help. So what I thought I'd do is we'd have a look at this. I've already had a bit of a peek at it, but I haven't had a go at fixing it. And we'll have a look at what we can do to fix it. Now, I'm going to try and do this at speed as I'm working. So this is going to be slightly less phoned than some of my other videos, because I don't want to miss bits out. And I don't want people to feel like I've done the whole Blue Peter, here's one I made earlier. If you don't get that reference, it's probably because I'm old and British. And if you do get it, I'm afraid you're old as well. Suck it up. But I thought this would be useful to show some technique. My matte cap on, so I'm going to put this to my matte cap that's red. I just prefer it. I find it easier to see things. And then we're going to want to see if there's any faces that are around the wrong side or way. In fact, there's already some issues that are fairly obvious when we look around. But what we're going to do is we're going to come here and we're going to turn on our face orientation. And that will turn in a thing where we can see the inside of the face yellow, which helps us identify there's a big hole here. So let's set this up in case yours doesn't look like this, and it won't do to start with. So we're going to go to Edit, Preferences, and come to Themes and Viewport Display, or 3D Viewport I should say. And then if we scroll down enough, we will have face orientation, back and front. Now normally yours should have something that will look like that. Everything is blue on the front face. In fact, it shouldn't be quite that extreme, but somewhere like that. So it's got a blue tint to it, and then yours will probably be red on the inside face, but I like my red matte cap, so I've changed it to yellow. So what I find useful to do, let's bring this to the side so we can see it, is I change my back orientation to yellow and basically just leave it as it is, and the face orientation, because I don't want it blue, I just leave this as it is, and I bring the alpha value, which is effectively how translucent it is, all the way down to 0. So effectively the front is my normal colour, and it should highlight where the back is in the wrong colour, and you can pick whatever colour you want for that. Like you could go for a pink or a green or whatever. I just quite like a bright yellow. So that will help with this. The other thing that we will probably use throughout this is machine tools, and that is a paid add-on. It's about $5, and I would really recommend getting it. And that's going to give me, firstly, this shortcut to change between modes. You don't really need this, but there are some things such as the align function that are going to be really useful to use. So, first thing, let's select this object. I'm going to press Ctrl and I to invert my selection, and then H to hide everything other than this, the bit that we're interested in. And we can have a quick look round, and we'll notice straight away there's some issues because we've got this geometry here, which doesn't look great. We don't want that. We've got a hole in the back, and actually you can see here that we've got a face here that's split up into bits, and it's going all the way along. So we don't have that, or we shouldn't have that. And it's also got this weird problem here joining. So I'm guessing what's happened here is that this whole section here, this top bit, has been added into this bottom bit, which is fine, and they've probably used a boolean but had it set to fast, and that's caused this problem. It's caused a load of overlaps. Now, just to go through that so we understand what's happened, if I bring in a cube, let's just bring that over here, let's scale it up a lot, and then I'm just going to Shift and D and then go along in the X-axis, and we've got this overlap. So I'm going to click that, and I'm going to press Control and plus, which will use Bool Tools to boolean this together. And you can see it's caused a load of issues here. One of them hasn't even really fully appeared. If I come along a bit, we might be able to get it back, but no. But if I do this, it's going to create, let's come to our modifiers and apply this, we're going to get a load of really messed up geometry of faces that go all the way across objects like this. It's a really big problem. We don't want that. This is why whenever you're booleaning, I always really recommend, let's just come back to it literally at the starting point, that when we do this, we Control and plus, and then we want to not use a fast union, we want to use an exact union, or you could change this over here to exact. Then when we apply this, and let's just H to hide that, we get one object, and it does have the geometry of both, but with no overlapping faces. So that's why that problem has probably occurred. But if we haven't got that file left to go back to it, well, how are we going to solve this? So let's go into vertex mode, and we'll start by getting this vertex here, which is part of this edge that goes all the way along here. Let's try and delete that vertex, and that does seem to be fine. So we can delete these additional vertices. That's worth doing. We could have done that with machine tools as well, but we want to make sure we're not deleting anything we don't want to be deleted. Next, we've got a few additional bits of geometry here and here. Let's start getting rid of these. So I'm going to go to Edit, Preferences, and I'm in my add-ons. If you've installed machine tools, let's go to machine tools. You've got all these options, and we want to have smart vert, smart edge, smart face, and we want to have a line here and a line here activated. They're just very useful things to have. I'm not sure we'll use all of them, but we will use a line at some point, I'm pretty sure, and we're going to use the smart vert, and also actually I'd have this cleanup there as well. And what we're going to do with that is I'm just going to click there, and I can just hit 1 and it will merge at last, which is a nice quick way of doing this instead of having to, we're probably going to have to do the same thing over here, click, click, M, and then at last. It just takes a bit longer, it's annoying. Then we'll have a look at some of these edges here. That's a big problem. We'll delete all of these out in a second, but before we do that, I want to pay some special attention to this bit here. This face is the face that goes all the way across here, it looks like, and has some additional overlaps, so that's a problem. So I need to make sure that this face, if I delete this, which you could do, we're going to have a problem that we're going to have to recreate all of this bit of face there and that one there. So this seems annoying, so we don't want to do that. Or at least if we're going to do it, we'll do it later. So what I need is a bit more geometry here. So I'm going to select this vertex here, and I'm going to press Alt and D to add a new vertex, and I will hit Y to keep it along in the Y direction, but it doesn't matter exactly where it is. Then I'm going to click this, I'm going to press Alt and A, which is going to bring up this align menu. That's using machine tools. So if I go to the left, it will align them perfectly to the left, which means that now we know that these are aligned. You can do this without it. You can press G and then B to get snap base. Oh, and we haven't got that set to vertices, so I'm going to come here to vertex. So G, B, select that vertex, then hit Y, then come to this one, and then they're aligned. It's just faster. I honestly would really recommend machine tools for $5, and then we're going to click there and press 1, and they're going to align. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. So there, 1. I should have said merge, not align. And then we'll probably have the same problem over here as well. Let's have a look at this. Oh no, this one's actually got a vertex. So there, and then 1. And then let's go to face mode, select that, and that still has a problem that it's selecting this whole face. So I am actually still going to need to Alt and D, drag that along, and then I can just select there, and then 1 again. And now this face, oh no, it's still having problems. So what we're going to need to do is break off this face. So there's a big face here underneath, and we want to try and get this effectively to be split in two, and there must be some issues. So for example, like here and here, we want that joined together, so we're going to press J. Oh, and it doesn't even like that. We're getting a lot of problems with this. We might have to go a bit long with this and actually delete it, but before we do that, if you notice, this face is connecting all of these bits here. So what we're going to want to do is break some of these off so they're separated, and then we can delete out the problem geometry and keep going. We could actually do this all in one go. I could press delete that face, and then come into face mode or edge mode and click here, and then press F, and it will go to this next edge. In fact, that probably is the quickest way to do it. So let's just keep doing that all the way along. As I said, I want to keep this in real time, so you know what I'm doing and I'm not doing anything strange. Let's have a look at this one here. So we'll come to the bottom there. I think. Let's check that this is in line. I think it is. We'll press F there. No, it doesn't want to work. Okay, so we might have an additional problem here. We'll deal with that in a second. So let's come to this one. Again, F. I must say that this person has done a really good job with this base. They've created all these really interesting shapes and sort of chunks that have been taken out of the bricks. So this is pretty good. But that does make the geometry more complicated, and that's where these problems can start to happen. Looks like we've got a face on top of another face there. I'm just going to delete that face to see what's going on. Let's go into edge mode, delete that edge, and then we can come and look at it from this angle. And let's just F again, and then we know that this has solved that problem. There's no face fighting. So let's go there and there. Here. Oh, this one's going to be interesting. Let's try this one. Yep, that worked fine. So this F is a really useful function to just keep adding those faces in. Right, so that's looking okay. Let's come and have a look here. So we've got this whole edge that's going all the way along there. Okay, so we can probably just grab that vertex and one to merge them. This whole back section looks okay, except for all of these vertices, and all of these faces are definitely not wanted. So let's go into vertex mode, there. We'll just select all of those. Let's Control and X to try and get rid of them. Oh, it didn't like that. So let's not do that. Let's just X and actually delete those vertices, and that will get rid of this whole top bit. And then we can just go into face mode, select that face, no, edge mode actually, and then F to do that. If we do one more, has this caused any problems along here? Maybe. Yes, so this shouldn't be one edge. So by doing that, we're causing problems. So we don't want to do that. What we'll do instead is press Alt and click here to select everything, which means it is selecting these vertices. And then if we're in edge mode, we just need to select the other edges or all the vertices. And then if you press F, this now won't have a problem because we've now got the edges should be broken up because we selected each one of these individually when we basically did it in one go. So I'll just show that one more time just so I'm really clear. I'm not sure I've explained that very well. So if we come in here, what I need to do is select every single one of these edges individually, but I can do that faster by clicking one edge while holding down Alt, and that's selected everything. And because it's selected each of these edges individually, even though it's done in one go, it's thinking of these as individual edges. When we then come here, and here, and press F, it creates one long face. Now, I can do that in this instance because these are all on the same straight line. So this is not creating a curved face, it's straight. It is an n-gon, but we don't care about n-gons when 3D printing as long as they're flat. Okay, so we've fixed this back section. We've fixed this issue here. We've now got a face here and a separate face here. Again, this one's an n-gon, but we don't care. It's for 3D printing. And now we need to fix this one. And we're going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to Alt-click that edge. And although it's harder to see here, we've got exactly the same thing going on. It's selected all of those edges individually. Oh, I do want to come in here and have a look at this. And it seems to have done the same all the way along, so I don't even have to do it again. And I can press F, and that should create one continuous face. So that's good. Now, if this wasn't a straight line, we would need to break this up. So I would need to come in here and do things like there to there, and press J. Ooh, maybe it doesn't like that. Oh no, that's because I was clicking on the wrong vertex. Oh no, we do have some other additional issues here. Let's have a look at this then. Okay. So, we have a problem at the bottom here where we've got, right, this one is working fine. Or this edge is working fine. We've got no overlaps here. By the time we get to here though, actually going to come and look at this from the back. So let's just go in here. By the time we have a look at this bit, we seem to have a problem, or at least Blender is not liking the fact that we've got this edge with that edge just nearby. So we need to fix this. Can we fix this easily? Probably not that easily. Oh, actually, let's have a look at this. Right, so let's go to this face, and then we'll F to there. That should solve a bit of the problem. We've got another one here. Right, so actually this is probably likely to be the problem. Let's just check that these faces are all separated. They are, so that shouldn't be causing a problem with overlap. We'll do the same thing here. F there. Same thing here. F there. This is the problem. Can we see that these are different heights? So when these were joined together, somewhere there was a height difference. So that is what's caused this problem. There is a height difference between this edge and the bottom edge. It wants to be against this edge. And I was possibly have caused that as I fix things here. Right, so what we need is actually a very long edge that goes all the way to here that's going to be at the same height. Though interestingly, this is the same height here. So this edge must be at a slight angle. So what we should be able to do is bring everything up to that height. So what I'm going to do is come into edge mode, go into vertex mode, and select all of these vertices. So that has selected everything that's on these slightly different heights. And we're actually going to use the align tool again. So everything there, Shift and Z is X-ray mode, and then I'm just going to once again Alt and A, drag up, and that's going to have brought everything in line. Now at this point, we need to make sure that everything's okay, because we've got a lot of vertices that are going to be stacked on top of each other. If I come here to demonstrate this, press G, there's a vertex on top of a vertex. We can fix this in a number of ways. The first is with machine tools. If I select this and hit 3, that is the cleanup function. That is going to have solved that problem. Now, again, if you don't have machine tools, so let's go back. Again, A, M, merge by distance, and that has solved that. So I can now G, and this is all okay. So, with that problem fixed, we should be able to click that edge there, which should select most of this edge. Oh, look, we've found some other issues here. You can see that face. This is why having this in this mode where we're seeing our back faces, here, face orientation is really useful, because that is a problem. Let's click that face. You can see we've got one big face there. Let's delete that face. And then we need to delete that edge and that edge, delete those edges, and then we should select that edge, that edge, that edge, and then hit F, and that should fix that, because we've got no problem there and a problem there. So again, this was a slight misalignment of whatever was being done here. We might get a few more of those along here because of that. Okay, so that would be something to come back and check in a second if we've got any misaligned faces there. Oh, yep, look, we can see one there. Let's select that edge and that edge, delete them, an edge, and then we'll need to select that one, that one, and that one, and that one, and press F. But as I said, you can see how useful this having face orientation on is, because you can kind of just, as you're going past things, recognize a problem. Okay. Oh, and there's a vertex here that we don't need. There, there, and there. Let's hit 1, or merge at last, so that will fix that. Okay, right, sorry, I got distracted. Let's get back to fixing this. So what we need to do is select everything on these two edges. So I'm going to come into side view, Shift and Z for X-ray mode. I'm going to select all of those, and I'm just going to press F. Let's see if that's created one big face, and it has done. So effectively, instead of going along and selecting here point by point by point, that made things a lot quicker. And once again, I'm going to hit 3, and it did find some overlapping vertices, so they're now fixed. Oh, and it seems to have found some over here as well. So yeah, we've got some issues. So a few more issues here to fix. That's the ones that we identified earlier. So let's go into edge mode, delete, edge, and then select those, and then press F. So we've got that one fixed. Let's hit 3 again. And you'll notice it has selected those issue areas, or areas where it seems to think there's issues, to highlight them if it hasn't been able to fix them. This is why Machine Tools is so great. Let's go into edge mode. What's the issue here? So we've got one long edge. This shouldn't be one long edge. There should be a vertex here, but if I press G, you can see here we've got this edge that is... Oops, sorry, wrong button. Let's come back to here. So we've got this edge that's going all the way along. Let's undo that. So what I need to do is go into edge mode, select that edge that's all the way there. Oh, actually we can do this in a couple of ways. Let's select this vertex. Let's Alt and D to duplicate a vertex. Select there, and I'm going to press 1 to merge it last. Hit 3 again, just to double check it. And now every vertex by G should be on top of each other. And then now that should not be a problem. Let's click off, hit 3 again. No big problems there, but we can see it's highlighted this one. What's going on here? Same problem again. Edge mode. Select there, select... Oops, sorry, select there and there. Delete edges, and then click, and then F. So none of this is hard. It is a bit repetitive, but it definitely isn't hard. 3 again. And we don't seem to have any issues at this point. Now, once we've got no issues with Machine Tools, I like to do one last check, which is I'm going to go to 3D Print Toolbox. Now, if you don't have this, edit, preferences, go to Get Extensions, type in 3D dash, and then print. Oh no, maybe just 3D. Oh, there we go, 3D space print. I think this has changed since I last had to do this, which was a while ago. So make sure this is installed. There'll be an install button there. I've already got it. Go to Add Ons, and then again 3D print, and make sure that is ticked on. And now we can click check all, and it should say if there's any issues with this mesh. So let's have a look, and we do still have 2 non-manifold edges. The ones to pay attention to here, guys, are these top 2. They're the ones that really matter. Sometimes intersecting faces can be an issue, but generally not. Top 2 are the ones to care about. I'm going to go into vertex mode, hit that one, which means it's selected them, and if I press Shift and Z to make it easier to look at, I'm looking for some green, and I just spotted it over here. So we've got an issue, 2 issues here. Now, if you have got a problem and you really can't see it, the other option is once you've selected this, so you can just press the full stop, which is also the delete button on your number pad, and it should zoom into it. And the first issue we've got is this. Right, we've got 2 corners that are occupying the same space, and Blender doesn't like this. It gets too confused, and so will 3D printing programs, so we don't want that. Let's just take the knife tool. I'm going to go into top-down view, and I'm going to press K to get the knife tool, click, press C, and click, and then hit space, and we've basically created a load of geometry. Let's go into vertex mode there, and there, and 1 to merge them together, there, and 1 to merge them together. And then we're going to go into face mode, select there, and there, delete those faces, and then we'll just add in edge mode, a face there, F, and then a face there, F. So now we don't have those overlapping corners, which is fine. And then we had a final problem here, and we can already see it. We've got this edge here that we don't want. So let's delete that and delete that edge. Okay, let's run our 3D print check again, and hopefully that is our last 2 non-manifold edges sorted. Oh no, we've created some more. Let's have a look. Okay, we've created a long one here with this problem. So let's just go into edge mode there. This is a bit of a mess as well. Right, so vertex A, that's 3. And that might, just using Machine Tools Cleanup, have fixed it all. Let's do one more check. There we go. So we've got everything sorted now. This means that this is now a manifold object. We've got no non-manifold edges, no badly contiguous edges. We should be good to go. So what I'm going to do is come back, and we're going to have to unhide these cutters wherever this person has put all of the cutters. Let's just press Alt and H, there we go, to bring everything back. Let's H that, and we can select all of these big previously used cutters. H that. Okay, and all we want actually is this, and this. So we just want those four. I'm going to press Control and I to invert the selection, and H again to hide those. And now we should be able to start cutting out our bases. So what I need is some duplicates of these. So I do this in such a lazy way. I'm just going to Shift and D and then bring one here. So notice we've just kept one cutter there. Let's delete that, and that. Shift and D, and we'll do one there. Let's delete that, and then that and that. Shift and D, and then we'll do one there and delete that. And then now we should be able to select that, Control and star, or multiply, asterisk, that was the word I was looking for, asterisk, that and that, same thing, and that one, same thing. No, I just pressed the wrong button, there we go, and then that one, same thing, and then H, and H, and H, and we've got our four bases. At this point we can turn our face orientation off, and all of those will be perfect, because we were getting it from an object that was now manifold. So, a little bit of time to do that, but nothing too bad, and mostly just repetitive things. This just takes practice to learn what you're looking for and the different ways of fixing it. So hopefully that was interesting to watch. I appreciate I went through some of that quite quickly, but you can always go back and watch it again. If you do have any questions, do ask, and if I've done something that you would have done in a totally different way, do feel free to say so in the comment section. We're all learning together here, and there might be something that I don't do that other people do, and it might be worth having a look at it, or I can say, well, this is why I wouldn't do it that way, and we can have an interesting disagreement to discuss the pros and cons of whatever methods we each use. Anyway, hope that was helpful. If you do want any more support for things like this, always feel free to come and join the Patreon, which, as well as giving you access to these videos a week ahead of time and ad-free, means that you get access to the Discord, where we have people that come on and ask for help or just show off what they're doing. So there's a link to that in the description if you are interested. Otherwise, it'd be really appreciated if you hit that like button. It really helps share the video around and give people the support they need if they're looking for something similar. Have a great day, guys.